So Michael, crunch time, Box Nation, 2 weeks time in Dublin. You're calling it the most important fight of your career. Why is that?
Reason being is because it's a must-win fight. I believe at this stage of my career, I got to win this fight. If not, they'd be thinking of retirement, you know. So.
But isn't that? I said this to Billy Joe Saunders when I interviewed him. He said, "If I lose this fight, I'm going to retire." Is not retirement a dangerous word to be using? Does that mean that you've already got one mind with one foot already out the door, contemplating leaving the sport, and not having 2 feet in the sport, and then contemplating it afterwards?
Well, at this stage of my career, it's to actually, I suppose, thinking of that, but I'm obviously thinking of winning, and I will win. Yes. I know that, but it's the situation I'm in is I haven't fought in 2.5 years, and I believe coming back into this fight, and this is the reason I'm taking this fight. I don't see any problems with me taking this fight, and after so long, and plus, you know, we fought in 2011. It was due to happen last year, and injury forced me out. So now it's the fight I want anyway. So we'll see what happens from there, I suppose. But with no pressure on myself, you know, I suppose it is a big word, retirement.
But that's a bit of a contradiction. You're saying like no pressure on yourself, but you are putting pressure on yourself because if you don't do well, you retire. That's kind of pressure, isn't it? Or does that work in a positive? If you like,
well, you can. I'm taking it as a positive note because I don't believe in all these little things has been said, and you know, you when you do the business, and that's it. And I believe I'm doing the business. So, but leave that aside. Most important is concentrate on winning, and then I suppose I'll talk to you after that. Yeah.
So how's training been for you in terms of you know, any injuries, things like that? I mean, no, spot on.
All good. You know, I've had a good camp. I waited at home in this one because I've travelled a lot. Yeah. All over in other fights, and I just feel I feel more comfortable at home now, and I've put the time and the work in, and it's, you know, it's been going good, and the sparring partners is unbelievable because, you know, they're good guys, you know. So
the guys you brought in, any names you mentioned, or is that all secret?
Look, it's I suppose I've posted a few on site, and you know, there's good guys, tough guys, you know. Yeah. What I need is rounds, right? And I'm doing that, and I haven't got it on my own way, you know, with the rounds, which is something good because you're coming out comfortable. It's not going right, you know. Right. So, you know, I'm coming out, and I know that I was in a spar, you know.
Well, that's good. It's good to hear that. It's good to hear that. So you said you fought before this guy. You said that you want this fight. What does it make you feel like knowing that somebody's beaten you before? Now you're going to go out there and want to beat them. What's that feeling inside of you? Do you think about this person all the time? Is it?
No, I think I'm a family, you know.
Really?
I don't look into that, you know. It is what it is. I am what I am, and you know, I love fighting. That's one thing, and you know, I've no interest in my opponent at the moment, to be honest. And I know what he is, what he's capable of doing. So, you know, come fight night, that's when I think of him. At the weigh-in, I suppose the day before, I'm going to see him, and then that's when I start picking up. But otherwise, you know, I still carry on what I'm doing, you know, a day-to-day thing, you know.
Any back and forth between you and him, or is it just quite pleasant?
I'm going to be honest. Last year, it was terrible. Like we had a bash up at the weigh-in, or at the press conference, sorry, at the O2 in Dublin. Yeah. And it's a grudge match, you know. But I've got to say, this time around, things has been quite. Yeah. But I suppose he's in the stage of his career too, like, you know.
So he's hungry for it as well. He needs to win as well.
He needs to win, you know.
So, should you win this fight, where would Michael Sweeney go next?
This fight, it's an 8-round fight. It's a Celtic Warrior title of some at the BUI sanctioned.
Yeah.
And it's a belt and it's an 8-round, and it's most importantly is the fight. It's the fight I want. So
right.
even out from that, if it was only 4 rounds, it's the opponent I want, really.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And where it can take me, I don't know. There's a couple of good cruiserweights in Ireland. Who knows? You know.
Yeah.
I suppose I've got to talk to people then. You know, set my team and talk to my team and say, like, look at where do we go from here. So we'll see how it's done on the night and how, you know what I mean. So but definitely there's bigger fights out there.
So what does it feel like being on Box Nation, being shown televised? What does that make you feel like knowing that you're on a televised bout?
Yeah, I suppose it's the fight and the opponent I'm mostly concentrating. Like I've fought on TV, Sky, and ESPN, and you know, but it is what it is, and you know, it's there. I know it's in my mind. It's Box Nation.
Yeah.
It's great, and you know something. It's good for the people that actually can't come to see me fight.
Right.
Because I've relations, you know, in England, and obviously they can't make it back for this fight, but they can see it on TV. You know.
So who else is on the bill that you know?
Jamie Conlon from Belfast.
Right.
Sean Turner, Dublin.
Right. Yes.
Dave Maguire, Dublin. Declan Geraghty. There's Jamie Cox has been added to the bill now.
Excellent.
Yeah, good mate of mine. Who else? Who else do we have? Should leave someone out now. I'll have more than one fight. Yeah, there's a couple of good other guys on the bill, you know.
Excellent stuff.
Ian Timms is on it.
Okay. Yeah. He's on it. He has to be on it.
Most important.
Most important, he's on it. Irish boxing. Do you think it gets the attention it deserves? You've got so many good fighters, great fighters that leave Ireland and go abroad and do well. You know, anywhere an Irishman goes seems to carry a certain respect and, you know, dignity about themselves. Why is that, do you think?
It's an Irish thing, I suppose. I don't know. Like, Ireland has produced top fighters through the years.
And continue with
And we're not finished yet, you know, because, you know, we've 3 guys qualified so far for the Olympic Games.
Yes.
So we're not finished. They're good fighters. I don't know. I think they present themselves well. It's that thing Irish, you know, like they're everywhere. You know what I mean? And so it's an Irish thing, you know.
Okay. Let's talk about some upcoming fights. As you know, Andy Lee, Billy Joe Saunders. Your thoughts?
2 good guys. I don't know. It's going to be
A tough one.
It's going to be a tough one to call, and they're both good guys and world-class fighters, world-class, you know, so I don't, I'm not going to call on this one. You know?
Right. Do you think it'll be a point or do you think it'll be a knockout?
I believe there's going to be a knockout in this one. You know?
Okay. It'll be a good fight though.
Be a good fight. Yeah.
Okay. Fury, Klitschko. You've been in the camp with both guys. Just tell us what both guys can do, rather than give a prediction. What do both guys do well, you think? Let's talk about Klitschko first.
Well, Klitschko obviously, you know, has been a world champion for so long, and you know, he definitely is a dangerous fighter, and we're all aware of that.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter, but I just believe, you know, he hasn't met anyone like Tyson Fury in the past 10, 15 years. Because
right.
Tyson is young, he's hungry, he's height, reach, skill, movements. You know, a lot of the heavyweights haven't got that now, you know. And Tyson Fury has, and can bang.
Yep.
People like criticise Tyson of the past. I get that because people has asked me on the street and blah blah. But said Tyson Fury, but he's been knocked down. Whoa, he's been knocked down, but he's got back up and won. So that's the key. And then they say, oh, if he get hits by Klitschko, he mightn't get back up. But that's not the case, you know. You know. But I do believe Tyson Fury wins this fight and wins it by KO. You know.
Wow.
I know, big prediction, but well, in saying that, it's not. I believe it, you know.
Okay. There's another fight that's round the corner. They're talking about Quigg, Frampton.
Frampton, oh yeah, good. Another great fight. I'm going not because the Irishman, but I'm going to go tilt on Frampton on this one.
Did you not think Frampton looked vulnerable in his last fight?
Okay,
America.
I've seen that fight. They took him away, you know, when he
Yeah.
was out there. Look at whatever. But who knows what happened in camp?
Yeah.
How was he feeling? Was he 100%? So
Yeah.
these are the things comes in. But he is still a world class fighter. You know?
Absolutely,
Obviously,
top class.
Top class, obviously, and okay, that was his bad day, and he won.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So imagine on his good day, you know.
What about Quigg, his last performance? Kiko Martinez blew him out
Did.
a couple of rounds.
Did
that not tilt it back in Quigg's favour, maybe?
Yeah, okay. People has their different opinions. And,
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good punch though. It was really the one punch that just turned it. And
Yeah.
then he countered on that and
Yep.
done the business. Listen, anything can happen in these fights. It's just one punch, you know.
Yep.
But I'm going with the Irishman on it. That's
Yep.
taking nothing away from Scott Quigg, you know. Because
Okay.
he still is a tremendous fighter and a nice guy. So,
If you were the promoter, where would you have to fight?
oh, I think it could make sense. I think the UK, big arena, you know. I think
Not
so.
Belfast.
Belfast been good, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. I suppose you have the Odyssey, but
Yep.
I suppose football grounds. Yeah, I suppose, but I'm not the promoter, you know.
Yeah.
So I make nothing from this.
And finally, just to talk about Irish boxing, there's a lot of talk about recently the old Irish coach leaving and going to America. Do you think that's going to make a big change in terms of the Irish fortunes, in terms of the amateur game, or not?
I probably, obviously, it's a bit of a blow, and you know, the guys obviously done well under Billy Walsh, but there was other coaches with Billy, you know. You've
Yep.
got you know, and these guys now are athletes, you know.
Right.
You know, they have to adapt to the changes.
Right.
And they're going to do, because they're clever men and they're great fighters. Billy has gone, huge blow, but, you know, let's move on now. Let's move on and concentrate. The other coaches coming in and, you know, I think it's a bit of a blow, but the guys are clever enough and they're athletes, as I say, and you know, they adapt to what's in front of them next and they continue. But I don't think it's going to do anything, you know, bad for them, you know.
Ireland's far much smaller than the UK, but you produce boxers over and over again. Of Katie Taylor is a perfect example that you've had. Is it Michael Conlon just the other day?
It's in the DNA. It's in the DNA. You know?
It's in the DNA. And what about technique and style and skill? Where do you think all that comes from?
I suppose these coaches, you know.
Yeah.
I have to say now, Zur, the guy that actually took temporary over for the
Yes.
high performance,
Yes.
he made a big difference to these boxers, you know.
Right.
Different styles completely, because he's seen it.
Right.
He's been, you know, he's been away. He has seen that, so that's he definitely done the changes to the high performing boxers, you know.
One final thing I want to ask you: when boxers go away, then you go to camp, especially like you go to somewhere that's got a Klitschko, or you go and you're training with a trainer like a Peter Fury. How much benefit is that? I mean, some would say it's an obvious question you're asking, but how much of a benefit is it leaving your home and going away and training in these camps? What do you get from that? What is it you gain?
I want to be honest. I didn't leave this time around. I could
Yep.
have. I felt it definitely it's a benefit.
Right.
You know, and you know, even psychological. You know, having top class training in the corner. You
Yep.
know, it's confidence and definitely. But it is what it is. You know, 80% of the training, you know, is yourself, and
Yep.
you know, you get up in the morning, the coach can't drag you out and put you running. You got to do that yourself, and definitely, it is a big help. But in relation to myself, this time around, I've thought about it, and I've said, listen, there's times I was mad to get away in camp. I get away in camp, and mad to get home. So does that hold my mind back?
Yep.
You know. So this time I said, right, listen, this is what it is. This is your fight. You're waiting at home. You're training at home, and I feel so comfortable. And even on the weight, I'm strong, and I'm eating well, and so it can work in different ways, you know.
Okay. Michael Sweeney, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
Thank you very much for having me.